Anytime we tell a story, there are going to be certain things about that story that tell us that the story is true. There are going to be a lot of things that can tell us that a story is false. Like if I was to tell a friend of mine I went to the lake and I went skiing, and I might tell them the lake I went to and tell them all kinds of details, about how I got there and what car I drove and what highway I went down. Elements of historicity is what we would call these. But there's also things that I could tell a story and it's just made up, and fake lake, one that nobody's ever heard of, a car that I don't own, or a way of getting there that I don't that I don't have access to. All those things that would show that there's certain things that are mythology or false or just stories and tales. When we talk about the historicity of the scriptures, that is the one thing that we look for. There's a couple of things that I think draw out more than anything else. We're asking the question, is the Bible reliable? Now, there's all kinds of ways we can test the reliability of the Bible, and we should test the reliability of the Bible. But we're asking the question here, is the Bible historical? Because if it's historical and the accounts that it gives to us are true, then there are massive implications for our lives. If it's not true, certainly massive implications as well. But whenever we're talking about a book that claims to be historical, we're going to find a few marks of historicity, if you will. The first one, I think, is the most obvious. It'll claim to be historical. Lots of mythology doesn't ever claim to be historical. And so when we talk about the Bible fits that first criteria, that it claims to be an accurate rendering of what happened in the past. Another thing is you would want to see evidence of historicity based upon, what cities did they go to? What time period was it in? Who were the rulers at the time? If it's not historical, nobody's going to put that stuff in there. They're going to make up something different because it's not trying to be historical. But if it is historical, those things will be there. Elements of historicity. We sometimes call this internal and external evidence. Another thing, and this is kind of fun, another thing that you're going to find in historical material that you want to find in the Bible are things that are embarrassing. Whenever you're making up stories, you don't tell things that are embarrassing. You want to put yourself in the best possible light and you keep out all the bad things that happen. Whenever we go through the scriptures, one of the most amazing things is, unlike all of the ancient Near East material and the Egyptian material and everything else that is out there that claims to be historical, you have failure after failure of the greatest people in Israel. Even the 12 disciples leave Jesus. Abraham lies. Noah gets drunk. Samson, one of the heroes, is just about the worst guy you could see. Another element is this, an element of, what's the best way to put it? Incidental details, things that don't really matter. Things that you're adding to the story that you're like, well, it doesn't contribute to the whole of the story. I like it, for an example on this, whenever John says that he outran Peter to Jesus' tomb. How irrelevant is that? How incidental is that? But again, mark of historicity. The Bible contains all the marks of being historical. The question is, are we going to believe it?